You with me, Ms. Ortiz?
Yes, I am.
I take it that your computer equipment was not able to give you a video, is that correct?
Yeah, my son broke my laptop and I tried using my husband's computer and I couldn't figure it out. And then we're having issues on my phone, so and now I'm on phone call. So I apologize.
All right. Have you had contact with Mr. Mcaleb about this motion?
No, I do not talk to him.
All right, well, before we get too far down the road here, let me get this case on the recording correctly. This is Ashley Ortiz and Morris Mcaleb, file 23-19527-DM, set for a motion by Ms. Ortiz regarding parenting time. Could you repeat, Ms. Ortiz, have you had any contact from Mr. Mcaleb about this motion?
No, I have not. We don't talk.
All right, and did you send a copy of this motion to Mr. Mcaleb?
Yes, I did.
And you sent that to his Orchard Beach Road address in Sheboygan?
Yep.
All right. What is it that you want me to do and why regarding parenting time?
Okay, so I am asking that the parenting support be changed. I would like for Ava to stay living with me until she graduates high school. She moved in with her father when she was 14 and made poor choices while she was living there. She ended up in truancy school through Sheboygan County with Judge Visna. My daughter still continued to miss school almost every day. She got put on a tether. She got sent to lockup twice. She went to boot camp. Over the summer, Judge Visna ordered her to come home with me. She didn't want to live with me. He made her. And since she has been home with me, she's only missed a few days of school. She still is struggling in most of her classes, but I am communicating with all of her teachers. They're trying to come up with a plan to help her succeed. She has an appointment on Wednesday with community mental health to hopefully maybe get her on some ADD medication and kind of just go from there. She started a job at Panera Bread. So I feel like we're kind of on the right track. I don't think it would be a good idea for her to go back to her dad's right now. And the last I knew, he had to leave. He recently got a divorce. So I think he had to move. He's not living at the Sheboygan address anymore. I'm not sure where he's at. So I guess I'm just asking that she stay with me until she graduates high school.
So you don't know whether Mr. Mcaleb even got notice of today's hearing because you sent it to an address where you don't think he's living?
Well,
right?
Nope, he did because he was still living there when I sent out the motion. And it was supposed to go in front of the referee, Kyle Legal, and he said he didn't want to do that because he knows my brother, Kyle Ortiz, so it got reset to go in front of you.
Okay. So the order of Judge Visna that Ava come live with you, was that supposed to be a make-up parenting time order?
No, that was just because she was doing so bad, living with her dad. And she wasn't going to school. She just kept getting in trouble and not following her probation officer's orders or Daryl's orders. So he ordered that she come live with me and try school here.
In your motion,
And
go ahead.
I was going to say, and I guess in our original parenting time order, we're supposed to share summers, 6 weeks. I get 6 weeks, he gets 6 weeks. But when she left to live with him when she was 14, I only got to see her 2 times, and that was it. So he said, you need to go. Your mom gets you for 6 weeks, you're going there. And So she came here for her 6 weeks during the summer, and we were doing her online school, trying to get her caught up through her truancy school. And then he suggested that she just stay down here and try going to school here for the new school year because she was doing so poorly at her dad's.
He being Judge Visna in Sheboygan?
Yes. Yes.
So is there an order from Judge Visna that says that you are to have Ava at this time?
Yes, there is.
And was there an end date on that, or was that, why are you here if you already got an order from a court saying that Ava lives with you?
Because he's just her truancy judge. He's not our, I don't know what it would be called. Front of the court is through you guys, Otsego County. It's not through Sheboygan County.
But it sounds like Judge Visna already
And
changed.
I guess it's still an open case though with him because we're supposed to have on the 19th, I believe, he rescheduled it to have a Zoom court hearing with Ava to see how things are going. And it was, he already postponed it before. I don't know, like a couple times. He keeps changing the date. But
Right,
he
so how
wants to
long,
check in and see how she is doing.
how long has Ava been with you now?
She has been with me since, since he ordered her to live here permanently, that was August. But when she had come just for her 6 weeks that I was supposed to get, that would be in July.
So altogether, she's been with you full-time since sometime in early or mid-July?
Yes. Yep.
All right. And is there parenting time made available to the defendant, the dad?
Yes, he just never wants anything to do with the kids. Like he never calls or asks to see them. He's seen his son MJ probably twice in the past like 3 years. So I don't know. I've never kept the kids from him ever. He just never wants to see them or call or check in or anything. So
you have two
and when
children?
he took Ava, because when she was her 6th grade summer. That's when she started kind of making bad choices. She went to go stay with her dad for his 6 weeks that he was supposed to get. And when the 6 weeks were up, I went to go get her and she refused to come home with me. And the police said they couldn't force her to go back home with me because of her age. And so that's when she started living with her dad. And that entire time that she was living there, he only let me see her like 2 times. And, and then that's just when she started doing really horrible, never going to school, making bad friends, and just, it just,
All right. And
problem
how is
after
Ava,
problem.
how is Ava doing in school now?
Well, she goes every day. I make sure she gets on the bus every day, but she's still not doing good. She's failing 4 out of her 6 classes. But I am communicating with all of her teachers, and we're trying to come up with a plan to get her to succeed. I don't know. It's constant. She lies all the time. So it's a struggle, but we're seeing a doctor. We're trying to get help for her. She's going to see mental health on Wednesday. She started a job, which I think might be good for her. Give her some accountability and responsibilities. I don't know. We're trying, but.
All right. And Ava's brother is living with you full time. Is that true?
Yes. Yep.
Was there any siblings that lived with the father and Ava when she was there?
I guess so. His Gage. I'm not sure what his last name was. It was Ava's dad's wife's son, but I don't know what his last name is. Maybe Jacobs.
So a stepchild of the father?
Yes.
All right, not a biological sibling of Ava's.
No.
All right, so the only biological sibling would be the child, the son that's in your home.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
And I apologize. His name is Morris too. Dad is Morris and son is Morris. So they have the same name. I apologize.
No, you don't have to apologize for that. Thank you for that clarification, though. Is there any other information that you want me to have?
I don't think so. I believe that's it.
All right. I will find that there is proper cause or significant change of circumstances that would allow the court to consider a change of custody motion in that the child has been transferred from the father's home in the Sheboygan area to the mother's home in the, you still live in Holland, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
All right, so to the mother's home in Holland, and the child has been with the mother for the last almost 4 months now, and has been there full time and has changed school systems in addition to that. So I do believe there's been a proper cause or a significant change of circumstances that would have a significant effect on the child's life, including custody change, basically a custody change from the father to the mother based on truancy decision of the court in Sheboygan County. I do find that there is an established custodial environment with the mother now. For the last 4 months, the child has been with her full time, and she is taking care of the child and making sure that the child is receiving appropriate schooling and care custody, including medical and psychological assistance, along with the school assistance. And then as to the best interest of the child factors, because there's a established custodial environment with the mother, the burden of proof is the preponderance of the evidence. And then as to the best interest of the child factors, that would include love, affection, other emotional ties existing between the parties involved in the child. It appears that the mother has those with the child, and that the father has lesser amount of that because of his failure to contact the child over the last four months. Capacity and disposition of the parties to give the child love, affection, and guidance, and to continue the education and raising of the child appears to be favor of the mother because of her actions of getting the child enrolled and making sure that she's not being truant. Even though she's still having difficulties in school, she is doing better at the educational part than the father was. And mother has also involved her in support services for mental health and psychiatric health as well. The next factor is the providing the child with food, clothing, medical care, and other remedial care and meeting material needs. It is apparent to me that the father has not done that over the last 4 months, and the mother has, so that favors the mother. The length of time the child has lived in a stable, satisfactory environment, and the desirability of maintaining continuity. The child is now going to school on a regular basis and having their needs met for mental health as well as physical health. Mom has the sibling in the same home, so it is providing a stable, satisfactory environment which the father was unable to do based on his difficulties in the truancy court in Sheboygan County. Homeschool and community record of the child also favors the mother because for the reasons I've stated previously about the schooling and the mental health aspects and truancy issues. And paragraph J, the willingness and ability of each party to facilitate and encourage a close continuing parent-child relationship between the child and the other parent. Mom has testified that she's not stopped dad from having any contact, but dad has in fact stopped having any contact. So it does appear that mom is willing to facilitate and encourage a close continuing parent-child relationship while dad simply cut off the relationship with the child. For all of those reasons, I do grant the request for a change of custody. Mom and dad should have joint legal custody. Mom shall have sole physical custody with parenting time as the parties agree. and I will prepare an order and send it out to the parties. Also refer this matter to the friend of the court for a child support recommendation. All right, that's all, Ms. Ortiz. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Nikolai Eimers versus Nicholas Eimers, file 25-20249-PP. I do note that Taylor Ostrom is with us, as well as Nicholas Eimers. Ms. Ostrom is the next friend of Nikolai, who is age 2. This is a personal protection order issue. Petition was received by the court in October. The court issued a personal protection order protecting Nikolai from Nicholas. Mr. Nicholas Eimers has now submitted a motion to modify or terminate the personal protection order. Mr. Eimers, if you would state your reasons for asking that the court to terminate the personal protection order. Go ahead, sir.
Can you hear me, Your Honor? Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay. So I'm petitioning to get it dropped because for a lot of stuff. For like what she showed as evidence for me supposedly having this stuff happen and stuff, like, is completely false. And I have documents and statements that I submitted to you guys for you to look at, Your Honor, from my job, from my landlord, and like all the stuff that she's accused me of is false. And they even wrote statements to, you know what I mean, to show that it's a false statement that she's making. So
Mr. Eimers,
I am trying to.
Mr. Eimers,
Yes.
hang on just a second. I apologize for interrupting you, but I need you to know that if you submit documentation to the court, that doesn't mean that I can look at it and consider it. I can only look at what's called evidence, and there are rules for what type of documents and what type of things can be admitted as evidence. Typically, a page or a picture or a document has to be admitted through the testimony of a witness to tell me what that page or that document is and who created it and why it's truthful. I can't just consider a letter from somebody without allowing cross-examination on that letter. And because the letter doesn't speak, there's no cross-examination available. So typically those documents are not allowed under the hearsay rule. So if you're trying to rely on a specific document, you're going to have to tell me what that is, where you got it from, and if it says what somebody else said, I wouldn't be able to admit that document. Do you understand all of that?
Yeah, I understand. I didn't know if they could come on here to testify and all that stuff. So that's why I submitted the documents. I did not know that I had to have them be here so you can cross-evaluate them to talk to them and stuff.
I appreciate that. And I'm not saying that you intentionally did anything wrong, but I wanted you to be aware that I can't review those pages just because you submitted them. I have to have a reason to do so, and it has to be admitted before me as evidence before I can consider it. So in your arguments, I'm going to give you a minute to finish your argument, and then we'll see what we do with the facts of the case after that. So go ahead.
Okay, I've never been accused or like prosecuted for anything towards my son at all. I work a full-time job. I work 6 days a week. I take care of my son. The only time Taylor Ostrom had my son is while I was going to work, and therefore back 4. So I left 2 days to go visit friends and family downstate, and I came back to these PPOs. Like I said, like this came out of nowhere, and so it goes down to the point of me and her are both on a lease to an apartment. And for her to get me out of that apartment, she submitted these PPOs so that I would become homeless and not be able to live at that apartment, even though I paid for that apartment. So this is what started all this and stuff. And like, she literally has statements from friends, you know what I mean, that I don't even know, Your Honor, to say all these types of stuff that is not true about me. And they've been harassing me even at my job, trying to get me fired. So it looks like, you know what I mean, I'm not a responsible father. And like I said, I even have people to witness this. She's been threatening to take my son away from me since that my son was born, Your Honor. And it comes down to it. Me and her had a 3-year relationship. We broke up for a couple months. She decided to run around and spend the night at other people's houses with her new boyfriend. And then she quit her job. She just got another job and stuff like that. While I've been working for the last year and a half, paying the rent, which I have actual evidence that I can submit to you in further time to show proof that I've paid for all this stuff. So my son is the world to me. I take care of my son the best I can. I give him everything he needs, clean clothes, everything and stuff like that. They are making it sound like I am the worst person on the face of the earth. And she's just, you know what I mean? This is a big exaggeration from her part.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want me to know?
No, Your Honor, that's majority of everything.
All right, Ms. Ostrom, how do you want to respond?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Quick question before I start. You said that you can't enter into evidence letters without people being able to testify to those, correct? Is that what you mean?
Yep.
Okay, so if I have people who are able and willing to testify, the people who have wrote the letters, how do I go about that? Because I have the reason I got the PPO orders is because when I first met him, he had just come out of rehab and he was supposedly clean, and we got him a new doctor because he moved up from Lansing and stuff, and he had asked her for his Klonopin back, which I did not know what that was, so I minded my own business. And then he proceeded to start crushing multiple at a time, snorting them in front of me while I was pregnant.
Wow.
And then he would become extremely violent and stuff. And he stopped for a while. I figured he understood me. It was okay. Over the course of the 2 years we were together, he has hit me. He shoved me. He choked me out in front of our son to the point where Nico was screaming and crying. And then I got up. I went to go pick up Nico to leave. He shoved me into my son's pack and play, which my son was currently in, to the point where I fell over like a little stool we had behind us so I wouldn't hit my son's pack and play. Every single time that Nick had dropped Nico off to me or I had come pick him up, he was in soiled clothes, diapers that were so full that it was ridiculous. He smelled awful. He never got baths. He was always sick. He was only fed crackers and milk and bread, stuff like that. And ever since he's been with me, he's been clean clothes. I've bathed him almost every single day. I have pictures of him eating in his high chair. He's actually eating regular food now. I've gotten him to drink out of a straw. He's counting. He's saying his ABCs. He's actually speaking now. He's walking on his own with like us holding his hands, stuff he wasn't doing before. And the only reason that I did not call the police was because my landlord told me that if I called the police for any reason of domestic violence, we would both be evicted, and I did not want my son to lose his home. But Nicholas he stole my vehicle once and crashed it while on benzos. One time, because of that friend he was seeing, he came up and I had told him, I said, I do not mind if you hang out with your friend, but I would like you to get milk for Nico. Sorry, milk for our son. He told me he was on his way to the store. 4 hours go by. It's like 2 a.m. I had no vehicle. No, I did have the vehicle. I'm sorry. I did not have any money at the time or anything. So I went to go find him. He was knotted out in his friend's vehicle in the Meyer parking lot. And I pulled up to him and I said, I need you to go get milk for Nico. It's too late now. He immediately grabbed me by the throat, told me to shut the F up, you effing B word. And I said, your son is in the car. You do not do this in front of him. You never put your hands on somebody, stuff like that. And I have multiple people to attest that Nico's doing so much better in my care. He's laughing more, he's playing more, he's more engaged with stuff. He's sleeping better. eating better. And like I said, I can have every single one that has written these letters. I don't know if you have them in front of you, that can testify on either, like, whenever you want to. They have told me they are willing to go on the stand for me and testify. Because one of them is my mother, who Nicholas knows. We lived with her. She witnessed him being high. He crashed his Dodge that he has currently while high at Applebee's after being fired for selling, I believe it was cocaine, out of the bathroom. He has told me time
I
and time
know.
again he can sell his benzos at Corwus Station to his coworkers for money. I told him, absolutely not. You never ever sell your prescriptions, no matter how bad off we are. Multiple times I have had to ask my mother for help buying sippy cups, diapers, clothes for
All right,
Nico. I've had to
Ms.
go to
Ostrom,
her.
Ms. Ostrom, let me interrupt you for just a second. What we're seem to be arguing about today from both sides appears to be who should have custody or parenting time of Nico. Hey,
I'm
hang on,
filing for.
hang on. Let me finish, then I'll give you a chance to move on, all right? A personal protection order is a protection device where there's a belief that the other side of the person against whom the order is requested is going to put the protected person in danger. So the allegations that I looked at in your petition had to do with physical violence in the presence of Nico.
Mm-hmm.
What it sounds like to me is most of what this issue is a custody and parenting time issue. Mom wants to keep the child safe because she believes that dad is violent and using drugs. Dad says, no, I'm not. I want to see my son. And that's not what a personal protection order is for. It sounds like, Mom, that most of what you're alleging is that dad has been violent to you in the presence of Nico on occasion, but not that he has been directly violent to Nico. Would that be accurate?
He has ripped Nico out of my arms before, bruising his arm. He has never laid, like, I would say he's never hit him, but I honestly 100% fear that if he has Nico alone and he proceeds, because I know he's currently staying at my Aunt Brenda's house and she has given him gabapentin, I believe that he's not a safe environment for Nico to be around. And especially with him not having a permanent place to stay, I don't know if Nico will have a place to sleep at night. He will be safe, fed, clothed. If a medical emergency happens, I don't believe he will be able to get him said care, stuff like that. I I just don't feel like he is safe with my son, honestly.
And all of those issues tend to go to whether or not he should have custody or parenting time, not whether or not he's going to intentionally injure your son. Um, and I understand that these issues are sometimes very close to each other. A personal protection order to protect the child could involve custody issues and parenting time issues, that he's not going to have a safe place for the child to go to sleep at. He's not
Right.
going to take care of the child, physical needs or health needs. All of those could be, but they're not what the focus of a PPO is. A PPO is the child is in danger physically from the abusive actions of the dad or whoever the other party is. And so that there's an emergency requirement that the child be protected immediately, not an ongoing, hey, the dad is not got enough diapers, or the dad's not got a pack and play, or the dad's not got transportation for the child, custody and parenting time wise. So let me ask this. Mom, you have the child with you right now full time, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Dad, when was the last time that you saw the child?
The last time I saw him was 3 weeks ago when she submitted the PPO. I've stayed away and followed everything I need to for this and stuff like that.
All right.
So
Hang
I
on,
just want,
hang on, hang
okay.
on. let me do this one step at a time.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have either of you filed any sort of custody or parenting time motion or request with the friend of the court's office?
I was
currently
going to
am in
plan on doing
process.
this right after this, as after the PPO. I was going to start
Right,
that
so-
process.
So the answer is right now, no. Is that correct, Ms. Ostrom?
I have already filled out the paperwork. I am just waiting for a fee of waiver to file it pretty much.
All right,
But
so you
Yeah.
haven't done it yet, but you're going to, and Mr. Eimers, basically the same answer. You haven't done it yet, but you're going to. All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that really is the most appropriate place for most of what you're talking about to be hashed out. And there's a relatively quick process for that to occur in front of the friend of the court referee, who can make a temporary decision on that until, if necessary, it comes before me under a full hearing. As to the issues of hitting and choking and shaking and shoving and all of that kind of stuff, that is an appropriate issue for a personal protection order. But really, it sounds to me, Mom, that as your issue is more, you're worried about Nico simply because he's violent to you when you have Nico.
well,
Would that be a fair way of saying it?
well, the one time Nick went to work and I stayed at the apartment and I was laying on the bed and I cut my leg on one of our kitchen knives and my son was carrying one around. Nick had hidden knives, our kitchen knives, all around the apartment. And then after I got the personal protection order, I was cleaning up the apartment because it had been trashed and stuff like that. My friend was helping me. She had caught my son with one of his medication bottles. It was like something he bought offline, but she looked it up. It was like something for
Right.
your kidneys or something like that. So, my son had access to a bunch of pens, stuff like that.
All of
And
that is custody and parenting time. That's how he acts as a dad. That's how he cares for the child. It's not an emergency. Hey, he's going to injure the child tomorrow if I don't issue an order today. It's not that he's going to come over and beat the child up. The reason that I issued the personal protection order was because the two of you appeared to be out of control when in the presence of each other. And you were alleging that he was violent to you in the presence of Nico, so that Nico could be injured as a result of his violence in your presence and mostly towards you. Now that the two of you are separated, it appears to me that most of what you're still alleging is ongoing, not taking proper care of the baby. That is leaving knives around, that is having drugs around, that is, leaving the baby in a dirty diaper, having messes in the house. All of that kind of stuff is a custody and parenting time issue. What I'm hearing is that, Mom, you're still worried that Dad is going to hit or hurt you if the two of you were to be together. Is that accurate?
yes, and I fear that he's going to get angry with Nico because of everything that's going on.
All right,
because
so what? Hang on. So there are things called supervised parenting time, where
Right.
someone else is present, and that would appear to me to be a way to limit his potential for acting out, for being intoxicated or on drugs or violent, that would protect Nico. So it appears to me that what we really should have is a PPO that protects you from him and stops that violent issues, and then allow the custody and parenting time to take place, that decision with the friend of the court. And in the meantime, simply say that while that custody and parenting time issue is pending, that we simply have supervised parenting time between Dad and Nico. Would that be sufficient for your needs, Ms. Ostrom?
I'm okay with that. Would he have to drug test or anything like that?
Well, I'll get to that in just a minute. I want to make sure we got at least an agreement in possibilities first. So Mr. Eimers?
Your Honor, can I mention one thing real quick?
Yep.
The paperwork that you have for me that I submitted is a whole, like the last 4 or 5 months, because I go through substance abuse counseling and therapy and all that stuff. There's literally papers right in there that shows you that I have clean drops once a week. I haven't been on no type of drugs. So Miss Taylor Ostrom is all over the map with these knives supposedly being around places, and only her and her friend can see these, and a bottle that, you know, supposedly is out of nowhere. I'm just talking about, it's like she's making up a bunch of stuff that's not true, and she's literally slandering my name. And you know what I mean? Like, and to the point where, you know, she's trying to get me fired. And like, I understand I can go through the front of the court and I will get myself legal representatives for the front of the court, because like I said, this is outrageous of what she's saying about me. You know what I mean, Your Honor? And I'm being patient and politely, but I am not a violent person. I have never had any charges for being a violent person or hurting anybody at all. And all of a sudden this happened. And what I got to say is that I was with this woman for 3 years. If I was so abusive and bad like that, she could have, you know what I mean, reported at any time, which she didn't, because it never happened.
I did.
And the fact is that, you know what I mean, she's using that because she thinks that's going to give her leverage over me, which is a sad thing to do, honestly. So with that, I leave it. Like I said, you have proof that I don't have any drugs in my thing for months. You know, the paperwork's literally right there that shows proof. So that's all I have to say. And if I have to, I will do supervised visits until I can get full custody of my son.
All right. So here's what I'm going to ask you, Mr. Eimers, specifically. My proposal to Ms. Ostrom was that there be a PPO that prevents you from having contact with her, but does not.
So there is already one in place. Okay.
Let me finish. Ms. Ostrom, is there a PPO in place with just you, with your name on it?
Yes, there is, which she's already broke. When we have a hearing on the 12th of December.
Stop. Answer my question, not continue to go on where you want to go. The question was, is there a PPO with your name on it? And the answer is yes. All right. So if there is a question of whether that's been violated, that's a different hearing. That's a different matter. It's not today. The only issue today is whether or not he should have contact with your son. And neither one of you have witnesses today with you beyond your own testimony. So
I
neither
do have
one
a
of
witness with me.
Who is that,
I
ma'am?
have two. I'm sorry. I apologize. I have two currently with me if you would like to speak with them. They would just have to be on my phone.
Your friend and your mother, like, that doesn't give me a chance to get my witnesses.
Mr. Eimers.
Sorry.
This is not the street where you get to talk whenever, however, and to whoever you want to. This is a courtroom, and I'm in charge of it. So both of you, just tone it down.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I have not heard anything that leads me to believe that if there is supervised parenting time, that Nikolai would be in danger. I have heard things from one side that could be true and the other side that could be true. And quite frankly, it's the way that you two talk to each other. I don't know who to believe or what to believe. So it would be very difficult for me to sit here in judgment and listen to anybody have witnesses and anybody say anything, simply because you guys have made your lives just such a mess the way that you lived it. You both have issues. You both have problems. It's time to start acting as an adult to each other so that I can say, all right, you are trying to do the right thing, instead of just making allegations against the other side. It appears to me that Ms. Ostrom has had some issues with Mr. Eimers' violence. And for that, she has a PPO. I don't see anything that would need me to continue to have a PPO against involving Nikolai, where there is an ongoing custody and parenting time matter. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the PPO in place for the next 30 days or so, and I'm going to reschedule today's hearing so that both of you can get whatever witnesses that you want to have here to be available to testify. That will give both of you 30 days to file custody and parenting time motions with the friend of the court. Once that process is begun, I think there's less need for a PPO in the future as to Nikolai, because the friend of the court can issue protective conditions about when he has contact with Mr. Eimers and under what circumstances he has contact with Mr. Eimers. And if Mr. Eimers is doing as well as he says he is with his sobriety and his drug testing, then he probably will get a certain amount of parenting time and can ask for custody if he wants to. But I don't think that this personal protection order is really the vehicle to deal with custody and parenting time of Nikolai. So I'm going to adjourn today's hearing for 30 days. At that next court hearing, if custody and parenting time is being disputed in the friend of the court's office, I'm likely going to take the PPO off of Nikolai. So one or both of you needs to file your motions. And then the friend of the court and the referee can do the protections that Nikolai needs under those issues. If for whatever reason custody and parenting time is not protecting Nikolai, I will have a full hearing in 30 days on this current PPO against Nikolai when both sides have all of their witnesses present and available. So we'll set it for 2 hours to allow you to have time for that. Do either of you have any questions about what we're doing today?
No, Your Honor. I will have everything ready. I just need to know when the court date will be to do this.
And I don't know what that is today because I don't know what this court schedule is in order to find a 2-hour period of time to give that to you. So the clerks will find that date and time and they will send you the notices in the mail. If you have not received that within the next 7 days, contact the court's office. Yes, Mr. Eimers.
My address is at that apartment, so any mail that's sent there, I will not be able to get.
Where do you want us to send it to?
Is there anywhere I could just pick it up or make a call?
You can
Because I don't
call
have a
clerk.
PO box or anything like that right now.
Ms. DeFighter, would that be set through my clerk's office here or was that through you?
No, that Samantha would be setting that, but he's more than
All right.
welcome to call and we can get him a copy. That's not a problem.
Yeah. Well, he can call here as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What number do you want him to call?
You can call mine. 0205.
731-0205 and ask for Ms. Johnson. That would be the number that you would be able to get notice of the hearing date next. And you probably want to wait until Monday afternoon or Tuesday before you make that phone call because she's going to be in court. She has been in court all morning with me and she may not be able to get that accomplished this afternoon. Do you have any other questions, Mr. Eimers?
No, sir.
Ms. Ostrom, do you have any questions?
Pretty much just like if he has to contact me in any way, I'm asking if there's a way that I know that there's a court messaging system. Like I would ask that we go through that for the parenting time or the supervised visitations or however
Again,
that works.
Okay, Ms. Ostrom, you're again confusing a personal protection order proceeding with a custody and parenting time proceeding. I am not the judge right now that can make orders on a custody and parenting time issue because neither one of you have filed a request for that. So right now there is no supervised parenting time. There is no custody. There is no order regarding parenting time at all. The only thing that's in place is this personal protection order, which is designed to prevent, to act as an emergency safety net where there's allegations of abuse or physical injury or physical abuse. So that's why I want to give you each the opportunity to start the process with the friend of the court on the custody and parenting time so that you can begin to have those kinds of orders put into place. And then we'll come back in 30 days and see whether we continue to need the personal protection order or not. And I'm telling you that once the custody and parenting time system is in place, as to Nico, the PPO will likely be taken off. But right now I'm going to leave it on just because the two of you have such a difficult time discussing anything with each other. All right.
Okay.
Now, do you have additional questions?
No, thank you.
All right. So you both will get notice in the mail of when the next PPO hearing is. If we're going to do that hearing, have your witnesses available. Most likely, we're not going to do that hearing if you've already done the custody and parenting time orders or motions. All right, that's all for today then. Thank you all very much.
Okay, thank you.
Court will be in recess.
You fucking stand.
Judge, are you want that in person or by Zoom, that hearing?
Zoom's fine. Probably should do it in person, but I really don't want to do them together.